help us avoid war and avoid the need for more soldiers. When this place was operated as a training ground for fighter pilots, in fact, it attracted pilots not just from the US, but from all over the world. There were Indian pilots trained here, there were Chinese pilots, British, Canadian, Singaporean, people from all over the world, from the allied countries, of course. And the idea behind the foundation of Thunderbird is the very, very basic idea that when people from different parts of the world sit across the table and engage in business and try to negotiate a deal, some pretty neat things happen. There's some magic that happens. Because not only after you've made a deal, both parties are hopefully better off, because one had something the other party needed and they've agreed to an exchange. But as a consequence of the conversation, both parties now understand each other better. And when you build partnerships, when you build business partnerships, when you set up deals and actually try to make those deals last in the long run, all of a sudden your well-being and the well-being of the other party are tied. And that was the very basic idea behind Thunderbird. This was 1947. You have seen the introduction of the flag of the United Nations. In fact, Thunderbird is one of the few schools I know in the world that very proudly flies the United Nations flag outside. The United Nations was created also in 1947, which was 2 years after the end of the Second World War, and it was a time where people were scratching their heads wondering how in the world can we avoid another disaster like what we just had, we just experienced. And that's the whole idea behind Thunderbird. How can we bring people from around the world together, put them on a journey of learning how to do business, but also learning how to think globally, learning how to build friendships and relationships with individuals who come from different parts of the world or different from themselves, and let them go out there and through their work, through their leadership, through their entrepreneurial instincts, through their businesses that will build and grow, they will at the end of the day make the world a better place. And that's what we're here about. To help you grow, not just in your knowledge, your technical knowledge of business, which you will learn a lot, but that's not the full objective of why you're here and why we're here. You will gain and take away with you a lot of technical knowledge, but at the same time, and probably even more important than that, you will start thinking even more so as a global citizen. You will, as you saw today, come in, and that's a very special part of Thunderbird, having an appreciation, having a respect for countries, for places that are different from us, having a sense of curiosity about how things are different in different parts of the world. That's a big part of our learning. And at the same time, you realize that the more you dive into that journey of exploration, the more different places you know and different people you know, the more you realize that at the end of the day, we're pretty much all the same. And that we're in this together. When you look at the world and say, okay, what are the big challenges around us? And in fact, the United Nations, for the first time in human history, agreed to a list of what are the big problems of our time. I guess if I ask each of you to write your own list of what are the big problems of our time, each of us would come with a different list of what are the things that affect us more closely. Well, the United Nations did that, and out of that effort came the so-called Millennium Development Goals, which some of you may be aware of.